Welcome back to Triple Alpha Sports Talk. I'm Josh. That's Roy. No Bryce. Currently on a flight. Not going to be here this week. Maybe next week. Bryce is going to be in and out probably for the next month or so. So me and Roy are going to hold it down for the next month until football probably. But first, we're going to kick it off. We're going to have a trade deadline MLB preview this week. We're going to go over some of the players we think are going to get traded. We're going to have a little bit of a game, maybe have a little bit of a punishment. You know, we're going to talk about some of those things, but let's get right into it. The only thing we'll do that we normally do is we're going to start it off with our MLB draft standings. The rankings have not changed. Bryce is still in last place. He has 307 wins on the season. One game ahead is Roy at 308. Him and Bryce are battling for it. Yankees and Orioles seem to be coming out of a little bit of a slump, you know, a little bit better. They're both not great, but better than what they were playing. And I still am in first, but I'll tell you what, my team had a bad week. All of them. All had negative records for the week. So I'm only at 324, so Roy's within 20 games. Still a little bit of a distance, but it is time to strike if you're Roy or Bryce, because Bryce is only one behind Roy.
These next 2 weeks is when we're going to have to get something going to go into August, September.
One thing that I am holding hope for my team, even though they did have a bad week, I do have a lot of contenders, so I'm hoping a lot of them add, and that gives them the juice they need, you know, to go into August and September. But we shall see. So those are the standings, and next week we will be able to make some changes if we'd like. So I think that's just going to jump us right into our trade deadline preview. And me and Roy have a game for you. So me and Roy are going to go back and forth, and we're going to pick 10 players, and you cannot repeat. So if Roy picks someone, I can't choose that same player. And it's going to be 5 points if the player that you predict gets traded, just anywhere. It doesn't matter where it goes. You get 5 points. But if you pick the correct team, you get an additional 5 points. So you can get 10 points on one pick. I got this idea from John Boy Media. Shout out them. Not trying to steal their idea. It's a good idea. So give them their credit where credit's due. I altered it a little bit. They have another feature, which I don't really like a whole lot. It's another 5 points if you choose an all-star. But to me, I just want to see that people get traded. I don't really care if they're an all-star or not. So, Roy, I'll open it up to you because I feel like I've been looking at the trade deadline for about a month. I feel real confident in a lot of players. Or, you know, I can come up with more players than probably you could, just off the top of your head. So I'm going to let you have the first pick to get whoever you want, your biggest lock to get traded, and what team. And we're going to talk about each player when the person chooses it, because obviously the other one cannot choose them. So, Roy, who's your first player?
I'm going to go with is it Garrett Crochet?
Okay. Garrett Crochet.
Yep, Crochet. I think he will be traded.
Okay.
And I have him going to the Orioles.
Roy, I have a list of about 15 players that I think are a guarantee to be traded. He is not on my list.
Yeah, I think he will be.
I kind of, well, not to the Orioles, I'm going to be honest, but I do hope he gets traded. I'd like to see him pitch for a good team, but I am cautious. So I'll let you, what is your thought process behind that? Go ahead.
I just think the White Sox are going to start unloading. I think they have to. I think this is what they're going to do. I think you're going to see a lot of changes in Chicago. They got one of the worst owners, maybe the second worst owner in baseball right now in Reinsdorf. But I think this is their max. I think they're going to realize this is the time to maximize any kind of capital they can get back. So I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. To me, his stock is never going to be higher than it is right now. So I agree with you on that stance. The thing that I think is going to be challenging is the team acquiring him, because a lot of people do not think that he can continue to be a starter this season. He's already hit a career high in innings. He's coming off an injury on his elbow or shoulder, arm injury. I know that.
Arm injury. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, are you going to give 3 or 4, really, really good prospects for a guy that you might have to make a reliever for the rest of the year? Now, he is under control next year, so you could flip him back into a starter.
He's on arbitration through 2026.
Yeah, so there's years of control, and so you're not only going to get him as a reliever if you have to this year, but that's the concern. And if you're the Orioles, do you give up your, heaven forbid Jackson Holiday, but, a bunch of the other guys?
Get that kind of haul, and I think they're going to back off the haul. Is what it is. The Orioles will get him for about 3 prospects that are probably, promising, but nothing, another top 5 or another, nothing like that. I just think the White Sox are going to unload because this is the time when they can, and you got control over him, and and I think I just think he will get traded.
I need to be writing these down. Let me pull up something real quick. I mean, I agree, Roy. I just am curious on how other people are going to. Orioles. Okay. Got anything else, Roy?
Nope. Who's yours?
All right. My first lock, and I'd put them in an order, so I was just going to cross off as we go. I'm going to go Tanner Scott, closer for the Marlins. Last year of his deal, I think he's a lock to get traded. A lot of people have him going to the Yankees. I would love a package of Jazz and Tanner Scott to the Yankees, but I'm not going to have it. I think the Orioles are going to pivot. I don't know if they're going to get a starter they like, and I'm going to have them going to the Orioles.
I think Tanner Scott will get traded too, but I wish he'd come to the Yankees, but because they need bullpen help. But I don't think the asking price will be too much for what they want to do.
Yeah, he's only got one. I mean, this is the last season. He'll be a free agent no matter what, so it won't be a whole lot.
But I think the Yankees like that. They want somebody who's going to short-term contract.
Yeah, so it's very possible. But he does have like a 1 ERA and like top 5 in National League in saves. Marlins just have no save opportunities. I would love him to be a Yankee, but I do think he is. The prediction is just you're just guessing, but I'm going to say he goes to the Orioles. But I think he's a lock to get traded. Roy, number 2, who you got?
Jack Flaherty. I think Jack Flaherty will be a pitcher off the market. As much as I hate saying this, I think he might be a Houston Astro.
All right.
As much as I do not want to see that, they're making a run, and I think they will need pitching, and I think he'll go. I think that they're the type of team that goes after the guys like this. That's what pisses me off. These are the kind of guys that I wish the Yankees would go after, but these are the kind like Houston always seems to go after these kind of guys, and they get them. And so that's who I think.
Yeah, I also agree. Jack Flaherty is number 2 on my list. He was my next pick. I also agree he's going to get traded. 1-year deal in Detroit, having a career year. I really would think about the Orioles in this situation for me, but the Orioles traded for him last year at the deadline from the Cardinals, and he wasn't very good there. Then he signs the 1 year in Detroit. So I don't know if Baltimore is going to go back and get him again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see it once. I don't see it happen.
Yeah, it didn't work last time. I don't know. I did have him going to the Dodgers. It was just a 50-50 guess, but because he's from LA, that's Roy's pick, not mine. So Astros it is, and I agree because my next pick, Roy, is going to be Yusei Kikuchi from the Blue Jays. I do think he will get moved, and I have him going to the Astros. Same idea. Astros are going to get a starter, I think. Just depends on who. But I am going to have Yusei Kikuchi going to the Astros.
I agree. I think he'll get traded. He was on my list. He was my not next one, but he was on the list. I think he'll get traded. I could see somebody like St. Louis going for him. Thinking trying to get some pitching. So,
yep, definitely could. All right, Roy. It's 2 rounds in. Pick 3. What do you got?
I got Jazz.
Jazz Chisholm. He's on my list.
Yeah. I think he'll get traded, and I think he'll go to Boston. I don't think the Yankees will try to go for him. I don't think the Yankees are going to do shit. So,
okay.
So that's why I think everybody else is going to get all these players. So I think the Boston needs some upgrades in areas, and I think they're the type of team that'll do it. They got the bullpen, or got the prospects, so I think they'll do it.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. Jazz still has years of control, so Boston, even though they're young, they're not getting a guy who's going to be gone the next year. I could see that actually. It's actually a good fit. On mine, I had no idea where I wanted to send Jazz, so I sent him in the Mariners because they have no hitting. But
I that was one thing I read about. But Boston was who was top on the
list. That's a good one.
So.
No, I could see that. That was a good one. All right, with my third pick, I'm going to go out west. I'm going to take Brent Rooker from the A's.
That's who I was going.
Big year, home runs, and who needs an outfielder? The number 1 team in the NL, the Philadelphia Phillies, need an outfielder.
Oh, really?
I also think the Braves could be in play. Those were the 2 teams I debated.
That's who I had him going to was the Braves. I thought the Braves would be the next one he'd go for.
I also don't think the Phillies are going to get a big-time outfielder. They're just not that many available. So I think maybe they just take the home run power of Brent Rooker.
Okay. No, I can see that.
All right.
Mine.
Go ahead.
My next one is Zach Eflin.
Okay.
I have him going to Atlanta. I think Atlanta needs another starter, and I think the Rays are on their way. I think they're going to sell. I
do too.
Everything I've read, I think they've got about 6 players that they're just going to sell. They're not even really that bad out of the playoffs, but I think they've realized they're not going to take the next step to a World Series. It's time to rebuild, and they're just a smart organization. And that's what that's who I have them going. I got him going to Atlanta.
Eflin. Yeah, there is talks of him moving because of his money as well. He's owed $18 million next year, and Rays do not spend that on a player.
Yeah.
And you had him going to the Braves. All right, I like that pick a lot, actually. The Rays to me are an interesting team. Paredes has 3 years of control, but man, his stock's high. Their closer, Fairbanks, has been talked, but he has control. I've seen Eflin, and I've seen someone else who I won't name because I might take them later. So I'm not going to name the last guy. My next one will be from a team that you already had a player leaving from, but it's a different pitcher for me. I have Eric Fetty from the White Sox.
Yeah, so I had him on my neck coming down.
And he's going to fit right in with the St. Louis Cardinals, who don't have a pitcher under 40. So I'm going to have him going to the Cardinals, and he does have next year as well, so he's not on a 1-year deal and is not for a whole lot of money. And the Cardinals can take on some money. They're not in the dumps for anything. So Fetty to the Cardinals.
I actually had them going to the Cardinals too. I think the Cardinals they're actually in a position where they could probably do something, and that was one of them. All right. My next one, if I can pull it up because I have to go down a little bit here. Where did I go with it? I lost my spot. I lost who I was going to go with. Let me go back up here because you said. All right. I was going to go Chris Bassett from the Blue Jays.
Ooh, that's a debatable one. I also think he might go, but it's one you don't hear very often.
I think the Blue Jays are going to get rid of a few of their players. I'm not 100%. I still don't think they'll get rid of Vlad.
Yeah.
I think Bo Bichette's a toss-up, but I didn't have him on my list. I think he'll go to the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers need some pitching, and I think they'll get him.
Yeah, they could take on the money too, because I believe he has a year left after this. So, who do I want to go with next that I feel the most confident in? My next one will be the name that I referenced that I didn't name from the Rays. It's going to be Randy Arozarena.
I figured that's who it was.
And I'm going to have him going out to Seattle, team up with J-Rod in the outfield. They need hitting bad. He's in arbitration. They expect him to make about $11 million next year and the following year. Seattle can pay that. And he's had success hitting in the playoffs in the past. So I think that's a good fit.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. My next one is going to be Taylor Ward from the Angels.
Yep, he's on my list.
I think he's going to Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to do so. I think the Angels are going to sell.
Yep. You said who?
I think they would have sold Mike Trout if he was still healthy.
Yeah. Who'd you say?
Cleveland. Taylor Ward to Cleveland.
Gotcha.
Cleveland. So Cleveland's. I mean, they're a good team. Get a couple things that they need. They'll be pretty dang good.
Yeah. My next one is also going to be an Angel, actually, but I'm going to have it their closer, Carlos Estevez.
That was my next one.
Yeah, and I do think he will end up a New York Yankee. They're going to get a bullpen arm. I do believe the Yankees will get a bullpen arm, and that's someone who they can slot in the 8th, and if Clay Holmes continues to be bad, they can throw him into the 9th. So it's one of those where he's pitched in the 9th before, now. So I do think he could be a Yankee.
See, I hope he's a Yankee, but I did not have him going to the Yankees. I actually had him going to Philly.
It's very possible.
So,
I mean, any team that's competing can get a bullpen arm.
I mean, I would love for him to be a Yankee.
Yeah.
But again, I said I do have one Yankee trade on my 10.
Okay.
But it wasn't him. I figured I had a little smaller one than him. So all right. So now you took that one. So I have to go to my next one here. I've got Trevor Rogers for the Marlins.
Okay.
And I think he's going to Cleveland. I had Cleveland getting a pitcher and a hitter, and
I do believe Cleveland will get a pitcher. Who I don't know, but
I just feel like the Marlins are going to start. I mean, they got lucky last year. I think they're just now saying, "Hey, we're going to." That's just what Marlins do, though. They just start trading some players, and I mean, they'll trade players you didn't even think they'd trade. So, you might as well be ready for it.
Yep. I have a couple options here. My next one I feel the most confident is Nationals. Jesse Winker actually having a really good year at the plate. Nationals, he's 40 years old. They're going to move him. I do think this is where Atlanta gets their outfielder or DH, however you want to put it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have Winker going to the Braves.
That's a good one. I saw his name. I didn't have him on there. What number am I on? What number are we on?
You have 2 left. You have 9 and 10.
So I'm going to go with Elise Diaz, catcher. From Rockies. I was now debating what team he's going to go to. I'm just going to say I wrote down 4 because that's what I read. I am going to have him going to Pittsburgh. He's only owed $2 million. Then a free agent. Pittsburgh's right in there for the playoffs. I could see him doing something small like that.
Okay, I need to make sure my next one's a lock. My next one to be a lock will be a White Sox again. Tommy Pham.
Okay.
Just rotting there, actually having an okay year. I am going to Kansas City to be a Royal. Royals are going to go for it, but they're not going to break the bank for it. Tommy Pham ain't going to cost you jack squat, and who knows, he might hit in the playoffs if they make it or help them get there.
All right.
Last pick for you.
It's what I read last night, and that's who I'm going to pick.
Okay.
Chad Green to the Yankees, the only one
I saw it today at work.
Yeah, I saw it last night. I loved when Chad Green was a Yankee. He has his moments, but he always did a great job. I know he had Tommy John. That's why they let him go. I understand that. I think that's a small move that they won't have to do much for because he's a free agent.
I agree.
So that's something I saw the Yankees doing.
I don't know who I want to go. I'm going to take the lock because I'm going to try to win. I'm going to take the Nationals closer, Kyle Finnegan. I'm going to have him go to the Mets. I think the Mets are going to stay in it enough to where they maybe will add one more piece. And it's going to be pitching. They're not going to touch that hitting. They're just going to let it ride. So that's going to do it for our draft for the players that get traded. Again, 5 points if the player gets traded, 5 if we pick the right team for it. I'll go over some of the other names, Roy, that I had. I actually had this one higher up on my list, but I just didn't choose it because I never know. Justin Turner for the Blue Jays. I have him on my list.
All that.
I actually had him going to the Orioles because the Orioles have so many left-handed batters. When they DH, they just throw – when they face a lefty – oh, my God. When they face a lefty, their DH is a righty that doesn't hit lefties very well, but it's a righty. Justin Turner crushes lefties. So I thought maybe. Another one I had was Cal Quantrill in Colorado. Having a good year there, and Colorado sucks. I had him going to the Brewers, whatever. Paul DeYoung, White Sox, just figured.
I saw that one. I figured.
But again, had absolutely no clue where he would go, so I went Mariners. Tyler Anderson, pitcher for the Angels. Had him going to the Dodgers. That's where he's from, apparently, so I liked that. And then this is what I'm hoping for. Yeah, I had Carlos Estevez to the Yankees. I also have in a package deal Luis Rengifo from the Angels to go to the Yankees. I just didn't say it.
Well, no, I saw that one because I want him too as a second baseman. I just again, I just don't think the Yankees are going to do it because that's the only team I was thinking of was him going to the Yankees.
Yeah,
that was my problem. I just don't see the Yankees doing crap.
Okay, well, we've completed our draft, and I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's talk about the Yankees a little bit because we're doing fine on time, and we can talk So you don't think the Yankees are going to make too many moves?
No, I don't.
Why is that?
I think that whoops. Sorry. I think the problem is, let me get my microphone says I knocked it off. I think the biggest problem that they see is our biggest problem has been bullpen and pitching, in my opinion. And then we have some player. I think we have. You and I have talked about. We have second and third baseman issue. Maybe first too. You can probably throw first in there.
Yeah.
Other than Ben Rice has been not too bad. Cashman will want deals, is what he's want, and that's been the problem. Is he wants to take a player. We'll just use Jazz as one, and he'll say, or Tanner Scott. So we'll have those two. He'll want them for like a discount. This is where his analytics say it's right here, but then they want this, and he is not willing to move anything to do that. Now I don't want to give up top prospects, but my problem is we have from about 7 on, we have a ton of pitchers, a ton of infield or shortstops that you could probably move because they're not going anywhere. I mean, Volpe's not going anywhere. I mean, and that's the thing. Ben Hess just got drafted for the Yankees in first round. Kid's awesome. I think he can throw hard. He can develop. The problem is Yankees are not known for bringing their players up. They want to keep. They've always wanted to keep all these prospects because we're gonna try to cut payroll. We're gonna do this. Quit lying to everybody. And I just think Cashman. I think his magic of finding players is not there anymore. I think he's not. I think he's washed. He's not relatable to the players. I think that he doesn't evaluate the way it needs to be done now.
I mean, yeah, I agree. So you say that you don't want to give up prospects. It's the trade deadline.
A couple
who's untouchable? And when I mean untouchable, I don't care who the offer's for. You will not move this guy. Is there any untouchables in the Yankee farm system?
Yeah,
or Major League roster in that case?
I mean, the Major League roster, in my opinion, there's only a handful. You can't trade Soto.
Well, you
can't trade Judge and Volpe. And I like Wells. I think you can't get rid of Wells.
Okay.
I think anybody. I personally like Verdugo. I didn't think I would. But
he's been terrible so far.
I know, but I like.
But he's what we need.
He's what he is.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I think, is. I'm not talking about the pitching staff.
Yeah.
But like top prospects, I would not get rid. I would not get rid of Dominguez. I think he is our future. I personally like Spencer Jones.
Okay.
And then there's about 2 or 3 pitchers. I'd have to look them up. I can't remember who they.
That's okay. I know what you're saying. So the Yankees were very interested in Dylan Cease in the offseason. Ended up going to the Padres from the White Sox.
Yeah.
Spencer Jones was the no. They wouldn't give him up unless they got Spencer Jones, and Cashman said no. So I don't know. I think Dominguez is also untouchable because I don't think they're going to keep Verdugo. I could be wrong, but I don't think they will. And then I think they'll keep Soto, Judge, Dominguez. That's gonna be your outfield, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but I don't think
for the future,
next year.
Yeah, I think that's what you're gonna have.
And Dominguez has been injury riddled this season anyway. They're not calling him up, no matter what. They're gonna let Verdugo play left. Grisham play his center whenever they need to, and then if they don't keep Verdugo, they're gonna slide him into center and I think move Judge to the left. But that's a different story. I agree. I'm not moving Dominguez for anything. Spencer Jones has to be for a player that we probably don't even know of right now. That like the other like Soto. I'm not saying we're going to get a superstar, but, something like that. I would debate on Spencer Jones because at the end of the day, if you're keeping Aaron Judge long-term and you're keeping Juan Soto long-term and you envision of Jason Dominguez being there long-term, Spencer Jones has not played any infield in his entire career. I looked it up like a week ago. So our envision of him being a first baseman won't happen.
I don't want him being a first baseman.
Yeah. So, you're running out of room to put him. You can make the case Judge goes to DH eventually, but then you're playing hypothetical scenarios down the road.
See,
I don't think he gets moved. But for the Yankees, I do agree with you, Roy. I don't think they're going to make as many moves as we hope. I think they're going to ride Ben Rice / JD Davis / Rizzo if he comes back by a miracle at first. They'll platoon it. DJ as well. I also don't. I mean, you're not getting squat for Glaber. He's got 2 months left of this contract. No one's gonna want him for 2 months anyway.
And his attitude and laziness.
And I will give it to him. He hasn't been god awful the last month. He hasn't been good. I'm not saying he's good, but he hasn't been god awful like he was the first
fielding
3.
Is still shit.
I know.
I mean,
I know. But he's at least serviceable at second. He's not good.
I know. My thing is, you can't trade Jones because, well, I envision something for the future that I know you're a Stan fan. I would eat after this year. I'd tell. I mean, I know he's been serviceable this year. I would tell him, hey, we're eating your contract. You're out. Because I
agree. I know it won't happen.
I know it won't, but I think they should. I think that's what they got to do because you've got a platoon. If you could bring Spencer Jones in and have a platoon of 4 outfielders of Jones, Soto, Dominguez, and Judge, and letting them get in their rest with the DH, and so I think that's a better outfield than what you have right now with Grissom. Grissom and I think that, and you got 2 young guys who I think Jones will be is going to be really good. I think Dominguez is going to be really good. Yeah. My problem has been the pitching staff. Is I've not been a Rodon fan. I know he had a great outing yesterday. I am not a fan of him. I am not a fan of Nestor Cortez. And then Stroman is just he was hot for a while, but now he's missing his mark on everything, and it's not looking good.
Yeah.
And I know, but see, I'm looking at the top prospects. I know I've told you many times, I love Clayton Beater, and I wish we would give him a shot. I know they won't do it. But I mean, you look at your top 10, we have 2 shortstops who you're never going to be using.
Aries and Lombard.
Yeah. I think those are guys.
Those were both taken last year.
And I just think, and I actually like this Dorbit Vias, who we
called up and sent down,
and then sent back down because that's what we do. And our pitching, I like Gomez. So there, I mean, and Hampton, he's not having a great year, but anybody else, I would. We need our biggest problem besides the fielding, and we got some hitting problems, but our pitching can carry us if we can get I think if we get a starter, a serviceable starter, and then we need bullpen people who pitch to strikeout people, not contact. I know. Strikeouts, and that's our. So
you're on the pitching side. You believe in the offense?
I believe our offense is serviceable with what we got. I mean, they're going to win a World Series? I don't know. I don't think. I mean, if Judge gets hot, if Soto gets hot, and if we can get and Volpe can get back to where he was, because I like Wells. I think he's got great potential. LeMahieu is showing his age. I don't think Rizzo's ever coming back.
I also don't think so either. But
I know all these Cub fans. I know I talked to a bunch of them. They were all going to the Chicago Yankees for Rizzo. Well, I'm afraid to tell you, I don't think he'll be there. I think he'll be there, but I don't think he'll.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I've watched this offense, man, and the pitching's been bad. That's why they're losing is they're giving up too many runs. Let's be real. But that offense, man, it's dead. It really is. Verdugo can't buy a hit. He just can't. Stanton doesn't play. Oh, yeah. Torres really can't buy a hit, but he's been better the last month, but still not very good. Rice is hit or miss because he's a rookie. I understand. Volpe's been hit or miss for the most part, either really good or really bad.
But Rice,
DJ, they've got no production.
DJ's a joke right now. But like Rice, at least his strikeout ratio has not been horrible.
Yeah,
and
he struggled the last 2 weeks, but yeah, other than that,
I mean, it's what drives me nuts is just, you put Volpe and Wells down we just don't have anybody behind Judge and Soto. That's our biggest weakness. And if
Stanton is being missed.
And Stanton's when's he coming back? 1st of September? I mean,
Stanton. They said he might be back next week, and if he's not, they're going to do rehab games. They might not send him to rehab games. They might just activate him.
They got to put him in rehab games because he's going to suck when he comes up anyway.
But they said he's about a week away. He's like a few days away from either rehab or activation.
So I mean, but we still need. I mean, he's not going to be Ray, so he's not going to be. That's not going to help. I mean, Judge and Soto, one's been hot, one's been not, but because you don't have anybody behind them to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I read not too long ago that the Yankees have the worst average for the number 4 hitter.
Yeah.
In baseball. So
yeah,
and they've tried everybody.
I am a believer in a bat. They need a bat because, and I do agree the starters have been bad, but in my opinion, I know how the Yankees work. You have Garrett Cole, not going anywhere.
No.
You have Luis Gil, as long as he's healthy, not going anywhere. And I know you don't like this. If Carlo Rodon's healthy, he's not going anywhere in the rotation. Mm-hmm. If Stroman's healthy, he's not going anywhere. They're getting Clark Schmidt back in about a month.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
He won't be as good as he was when he left.
I mean, I think Clark Schmidt looks really good for the most part. I mean, it might take him a few starts, but
I think it's going to take. It takes a month for him. I mean, look at Garrett Cole. It's taken him at least a month to get finally going. It's
so if you add a starter, what are you doing with some of the other guys? Because you can't have an 8-man rotation.
No, I think you got to get rid of Nestor Cortez. I do not like him.
Yeah, I do agree. I think he's bullpen arm. I just don't think they will.
I don't think they'll go for a starter, but I think they need one. I mean, they're not going to. They can't trade any of those guys. Unless they trade Clark Smith, which I'm okay with. I want to keep Clark Smith because I like him. And as we're talking, Gleyber Torres just hit a solo shot home run. Jeez, my fucking Christ!
Wow, he had a home run. I literally almost said he has no power.
Yeah, he just hit one. But no, we need bullpen. That's the big. I agree. We need a bat, but what are you gonna get? I mean, they're not gonna trade. What are they gonna trade? Get rid of.
I have no clue. That's the one thing I do think they will get. I do think they will go for the bullpen arm.
Oh no,
Estevez, Scott. I do think they'll spend something for a bullpen.
Go for somebody. That's why I said Chad Green or. I mean, I would love
Chad Green could be an option.
You got Estevez and say Tanner Scott. How awesome would that be?
Oh, they won't get both. There'll be other teams that miss on one. Like let's say the Yankees get Scott. I'll use that as an example. Teams will go after harder to get Estevez and get more. But I do think the Yankees. I would rather have Scott. I also would. He's a lefty. We have righties down there. Personally, I would rather them get one or the other, like whichever one they choose, and package either Rengifo or Jazz. I'd rather them go get Estevez and Rengifo than just get Scott. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No.
Or I'd rather them get Scott and Jazz than just get Estevez. So I don't know if that'll happen. Though. Jazz can play everywhere, and so can Rengifo. That's what I like about him. And in my opinion, Gleyber and DJ, I'm okay with them facing lefties. It's righties that they struggle. So I would like Jazz, like if Jazz and DJ could platoon. DJ plays against a righty, Jazz can sit. Then he can be a speed guy off the bench. But if you face the left, or if I had it reversed, if you had a righty pitching, Jazz would be in. If you had a lefty pitching, DJ could play. Because he keeps rolling over on everything from a righty. Face the lefty, it's a home run. Actually, he had a home run against a righty, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think we're seeing DJ's demise.
Yeah,
I just think I mean, benching him is probably the best thing in my opinion. But you got to have somebody to replace him with, and I mean, what are you gonna do? Oswaldo Cabrera. I like him.
I would trade Oswaldo Cabrera.
But I would trade him.
If you could trade Oswaldo and a pitching prospect and get Jazz and Scott and whatever else you have to give up, I'm doing that every day. Jazz is a better player than Oswaldo will ever be.
Maybe Miami, who's been wanting Gleyber Torres for a while, maybe they'll finally say, yeah, we'll just take him. But you got to give us this or that. I mean, I know we're not going to because I don't think.
Okay, let's get off the Yankees.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk too much more about the trade deadline we've been talking about for a while. Give me one team or player that you think should sell, or as in a team, or a player that should get traded that you don't think will, but you think should.
All right, so a team that I think should sell, or a player,
that you think should be traded that won't be.
I'm looking at the standings just so I actually think Texas should sell.
Okay.
A lot of their team, a lot of players.
Even because aren't they only like 4.5 back?
They're 4
from the
games
division.
out, but I don't think this team is that good.
That's close though. That's a hard one to sell.
But I'm just saying, I would.
Oh, I understand.
You
That's
got inflated payroll for a bunch of guys, especially your pitching staff.
Yeah.
Maybe get rid of Max Scherzer. Maybe see if you can get rid of some of these guys
Yeah.
that are inflatable.
I read that the Rangers are literally taking it day by day.
Oh,
if they go on it,
that too.
But they get the White Sox for a 4-game set this week.
Oh, well,
so they go 4-0.
Probably 2-2 on that one, knowing them.
Well, if they go 2-2 against the White Sox, they're going to sell.
Or the other team I think would be the Cubs. But
okay, they're another one. You pick 2 teams that are considered on the bubble, like whatever they do in the next week. So we won't know and I was wrong. Our podcast will not be next Wednesday, Roy. It will be Tuesday. The deadline is not the 31st. It's the 30th, which is Tuesday. So a week from today at 5 o'clock. So we'll go live at like 5:30 at 30 minutes after, just in case there's like a buzzer beater. So we'll go over. Okay, so that's a team you think. Give me a player now. Player you think should be traded that won't be. And don't say someone on the Rangers.
No one on the Rangers? How about the Cubs?
Yeah. Sure, go ahead if you want to pick a Cub. Player that should be traded that won't.
Cody Bellinger.
The contract is why. If he didn't have that contract, he would. Mm-hmm. But, okay, I see. A team that I think 100% should sell, and I think they're going to sell a little, they just won't sell all, is the Blue Jays. It is not working. It hasn't worked. It's been 2019. You've made the playoffs 3 times. Their playoff record in all 3 postseason appearances, 0-6. They should deal. They should deal Vlad. Stock won't be higher. He's got next year, and that's it.
Yeah.
Next year at this time, his stock will be half of it because he's only got half a year left. They should sell him right now. Bobichet's hurt, and his stock's at the bottom, so I understand they're not going to move him. Blue Jays, to me, should be a fire sale, and they could get a lot in return.
I agree.
Player that won't get traded that I think should. That's a tough one. I need to see the standings real quick because I have about 2 players I'm debating, and I need to see their standings.
My other one is I hope the Yankees – a player that needs to be traded is Mason Miller to the Yankees, but it won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do it. This is going to be controversial, Roy. Player that should be traded, but won't. AL Cy Young favorite Tyreek Skubal from Tigers should get dealt.
I've read
literally will not have a better year than he's having right now, probably in his career. I could be wrong. He's a really good pitcher. 3 years of control. But if you're the Dodger, if you call the Dodgers and you ask for like 2 or 3 superstar prospects, I bet they'd do it. I bet they would. 3 years of control on arbitration. Yeah, I would capitalize, but that won't happen.
No,
that's mine. So that's all we got for the trade deadline. We're going to do a little bit more after this, but for the next episode, the trade deadline will have passed. So the next episode will be going over all the trades, thoughts, biggest hits, biggest misses, things like that. So it'll be next week will be a fun one. I think that's just going to roll us into our lock of the week game and wisdom. You good with that, Roy?
Sure. I mean, I don't have much, so
that's okay. I will. I'll give you my lock of the week. I'm going to go into baseball. Let's go into tomorrow, Wednesday. Garrett Cole faces the Mets, and the Yankees are facing a lefty who they do not hit well. Give me the under of 8 runs. Rangers with Eovaldi on the mound are facing the White Sox. Give me a Rangers money line. I'm going to just do those 2 parlayed. I'm going to put. Oop, didn't log me in. Hold on.
$50.
Oh my God! Verify my phone number. Here we go. I'm gonna put $50. You're correct, Roy.
Sounds good.
Not 50 pays $134, and I feel real good about that. Really good. Not putting $50 unless I feel real good. And as we know, Bryce is not here, so Roy, I have a game for you.
Okay.
Okay. Debut teams of these MLB players. So I'm going to name a player. You have to tell me what team he debuted for. Okay?
All right.
And these are all-time players, not just whoever's. Okay. So I'm going to give you the first one. I'm not going to have it timed. I don't want it to be a rush. Alex Rodriguez.
Mariners.
Correct. Babe Ruth.
Red Sox.
Correct. Actually, I'm just going to give up so I can see the answers because I'm not taking it. Barry Bonds.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Correct. Miguel Cabrera.
Marlins.
Correct. Bryce Harper.
Nationals.
Correct. CC Sabathia.
Cleveland.
Correct. Roger Clemens.
Boston. No, wait, no,
Correct.
no.
Nope,
right?
correct. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, damn it. David Ortiz, you already knew that.
Twins, yeah.
Randy Johnson.
Expos.
Correct. Ricky Henderson.
I am going to say the Athletics.
Correct. Manny Ramirez.
Cleveland.
Correct. Ooh, that's a good one. Josh Beckett.
Marlins.
Correct. He's on a roll, boys. Reggie Jackson.
Athletics.
Correct. Nolan Ryan.
Angels.
Wrong. First one. All right, we'll come back. We'll come back to it.
There's Houston.
Wrong. Greg Maddux.
The Cubs.
Correct. Johnny Damon.
Kansas City.
Correct. I think you have 8 more.
Okay.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Marlins.
Correct. Justin Verlander.
Detroit Tigers.
Correct. Mike Mussina.
Orioles.
Correct. Max Scherzer.
Nationals.
Wrong. We'll come back to it. Pedro Martinez.
Oh, I know Max Scherzer. Damn it, it's the Tigers.
Wrong.
Really? Dang it. All right, who's the next
Pedro
one?
Martinez.
Expos.
Wrong. I actually didn't know this. I've known all of them. Well, I shouldn't say I've known all of them. I haven't been surprised. I'm surprised to see this one. I didn't know this.
Okay.
Pedro Martinez. Do you want me to come back?
Come back to it.
Okay. Mark McGuire.
Athletics.
Yes. Fred McGriff.
I don't think this is right. I'm gonna say Blue Jays.
It is Blue Jays.
Sweet.
And last one, Frank Robinson.
Oh man. Orioles.
Wrong. Okay, right. We'll come back to the ones you missed.
Frank Robinson.
You missed Nolan Ryan. You said at first Angels, incorrect. Then you said Astros, also incorrect.
I'm gonna try. Dang. I don't know. Mets. I have no idea actually.
Mets. Correct.
Mets. Okay.
Mets.
I kind of remember seeing his card or something, but I didn't think that was right. So, okay, Mets.
And then the next one you missed was Scherzer. You said Nationals, it was wrong. Then you said Tigers, it was incorrect. That's teams 2 and 3. You forgot number 1.
Number 1, I am going to say. Dang, Kansas City? I don't even know.
No. Arizona Diamondbacks was who he got drafted by.
I forgot he was over there.
And then they moved him to Detroit.
That's my.
Frank Robinson, I barely know who that is. I mean, I do. I just don't know anything about him.
I do, but
his answer is nope, Reds. I didn't know he played for Reds.
I had no idea.
And Pedro Martinez is the last one that you didn't get. And I didn't even know he played for this team.
I am going to say Detroit. I don't really know.
Nope. I'm looking at his baseball reference. I want to see how long it was. So his rookie year for the team that it is, he played in 2 games. The following year, he played a full season there.
Okay.
As a reliever, he wasn't a starter. Then traded. I assume he was traded. It was year 2. The team that you did not get was the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh no, I had no clue he was with the Dodgers.
He's a Dodger.
Wow.
That's what I. So Roy, your best get. So the lowest percentage one that you got right was the hardest one on the quiz. Fred McGriff to the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, I love the crime dog, dude. I have a video of him
Crime
saying hi to
dog.
me, man. The crime dog. I have a
And
video.
your
my
worst
buddy-
was Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
50% get it right. So not bad.
Fred McGriff. Yeah, I love the crime dog. My buddy
Yep.
Darren Blair is friends with him. So yeah, gotta maybe see if I can get him on our podcast.
Yeah. Hey, football season right around the corner.
Hell yeah! I'm trying to get. I was trying to work on Ben Hess, first round draft pick, see if he can get on here, but
Oh, we should do it.
I'm gonna
See what you can do.
I'll see what.
I mean, I'm sure he's busy right now, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
work your magic.
I will see what I can do. I'm not as good as you guys with the football stuff.
Yeah, I know. All right, Roy, go ahead. Old man wisdom. What do you got?
If you got aches and pains, take some medicine because it really helps.
That is true. He's true.
So that's about it.
All right.
I've been busy with work, so I've got a lot of things going on.
Yep. I don't think I have anything else. Like we said, deadline a week from 6 days from now for you guys, week for us. We'll shoot it live Tuesday right after the deadline. You guys will see it the next day, so you'll have a day under your belt to think about all things. We'll do basically a live reaction for the most part. Yeah, next week's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a draft review, deadline review. We also might talk a little baseball, but we might move over it. Other than that, we might have to do a full deadline review, and then that might give us enough time to. Yep, training camps. Most teams reported today. Few report tomorrow or the next day, but yep, should be a good one. I don't have anything else, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment if you're new. I know we have a few new listeners, not so much YouTubers, but listeners. So hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button. Let us know in the comments if you enjoy, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.
See ya.
All right.
Gotta find my way to you, even though you're next to